And welcome back, everyone, to the week of Who Would Win. Today's Who Would Win comes to us from Red Elastic 99, who asked the question, who wins in a fight? Black Manta or Killmonger? I'm obviously using more the comic book version of Killmonger than the live-action one, but let's be honest, Michael B. Jordan, cool as F. So, if you want me to do the other one, then I can do the other one. I could do the movie versions of them at some point, too, because they are different in terms of, scaling. Black Manta, though, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he is human. He was a pirate, too. Apparently, fun fact, he has autism. That's something they gave him that was included a while back. Who knew? I didn't know that. But he is one of Aquaman's sworn enemies. As a pirate, as a deep diving, mercenary, all that. He is greatly feared, and he's strong enough to actually contend with Aquaman, which is very impressive. This is actually very impressive because he's basically just human. As far as I know, he doesn't have much in terms of enhanced physicality. It's possible his diving suit does increase his strength to a certain degree, but otherwise the suit is mostly designed to withstand hot, cold, and pressure and allow him to, go very deep into the sea. He is still an expert in hand-to-hand combat. He is extremely intelligent and gifted. He's also skilled in weaponry, and more obviously his claim to fame is that big helmet he has, which can fire massive concussive beams, which are strong enough to injure and even arguably kill Aquaman if he had enough time to do it. That's impressive because Aquaman is actually a lot stronger than people give credit for a lot of time, although I feel like in recent years they've really made a good point of showing how strong he really is. Because he lives under the depths so long, his skin is actually very thick and durable because of the pressurization of the ocean he lives under. And he's capable of swimming very fast. He's also very strong, nowhere near Wonder Woman or Superman levels of strength, but well beyond normal physicality for a person. So I'm not sure if he has ever gone straight toe-to-toe in hand-to-hand combat with Aquaman, at least in later versions. I'm sure in earlier versions he did, but this is when Aquaman actually wasn't that physically strong. They did have to update him a couple times before they actually got his strength calc in a nice spot. But yeah, no, Black Manta is a cool character. I like Black Manta. Killmonger, I'll admit, I'm actually not as familiar with the comic version of Killmonger. And it shows, because apparently the comic version of Killmonger is, what's the best way to put it? Think the movie version of Killmonger. First off, he looks like that, not like what we see in the movie. But think the movie version, and then add a shit ton more abilities onto it. So he did, in fact, take the heart-shaped herb. It actually didn't work the first time. It was poisonous to him. But he later, he got better, and he figured it out. He's actually a genius. He's actually a tech genius and I think a very solid chemist. But he's also been reincarnated through mysticism multiple times, which has already amped his physicality to the point where he's actually surpassed someone like T'Challa. He also tends to use a lot of poison in his weaponry, which his armor, despite looking like panther pelts, is actually vibranium. But beyond that, he's actually has a symbiote, too, now. Yeah, but like a divine, I think it's called the divine symbiote. Now, apart from more amplification of physical abilities, it allows him a couple odd abilities that aren't, I'm not going to bring them up. Because I was looking it up. I'm not going to bring him into the fight because they actually have really no bearing into the fight, but he does, in fact, have a symbiote, which is very interesting. There's a lot of symbiotes out there now. I saw one recently. It's like one of Venom's those recent kids, and I can't remember. It was like a black and yellow one with like 4 eyes. It looked really cool. But yeah, in terms of skill, they're both skilled hand-to-hand fighters, though I still would give that edge to Killmonger. They're both also quite intelligent and dangerous. They have multiple weaponry on them. Black Manta's definitely got the range and more dangerous weapon with his helmet, though. The suit, obviously, that Black Manta wears is durable enough to survive being under sea, so it's not just a piece of fabric he's wearing that, just has, it's durable enough to take hits and not be damaged. So, with all that said, who wins in a fight? This, I think, takes place. Okay, if fight goes into the water, and I mean it has to be a big body of water, like a big lake or an ocean or something like that, well, then honestly, Black Manta is going to kill Killmonger because nothing else, he'll just drown his ass. So for it to be a fair fight, it really has to take place on the land, because Black Manta still can function very much on land. And who wins? Well, if it's the fight would most likely start out, Black Manta's more the invader than Killmonger. He fires off concussive blasts, but Killmonger's fast enough, durable enough, and strong enough to get out of the way and maybe survive glancing blows. I will say, a straight-on blast from this thing, Killmonger might not be dead, but he's down for the count. So that's something he's got to avoid in the fight. He would probably close the distance very fast, as he is a trained warrior. And he would come in, do his thing. They would start fighting now. While that suit is fairly durable, can tank small arms fire, no problem, even Atlantean weaponry, vibranium is a different beast of a weapon to deal with, and he has vibranium weapons. So it's very likely he can pierce and cut the suit. Now, that being said, he still has got to get in close range for that, although he does have darts from a gauntlet that he can use to fire. The long and short of it comes down to this. As the fight commences and poison is starting to affect Black Manta, he's going to probably start to freak out a bit. But all it takes is one shot. So the question is, do I think that one shot is going to happen the majority of the time, or is it going to happen the minority of the time? My best guess is going to simply be, because he has to get in close range, because all Manta has to do is just look at him, I think it's going to be the majority of the time it happens. Hell, he could even maybe fake Killmonger out. Like, maybe he goes to the ground, just like, it's like, cats eat fish, right? It's like, I'm not a fish. I'm a manta. And just blast him. And just, they're like, maybe someone like Myra Screw's like, sir, manta rays are technically fish. He's like, shut up. But yeah, I think really because both these guys aren't really bound by honor, they will fight dirty. I think Manta will win because even if he gets poisoned, he can feign that he's going down and just boom, just he's like, say cheese, boom, and especially if he's close range, even that vibranium will only do so much. Now, that being said, there is the issue of that vibranium armor. Like I said, Killmonger probably isn't going to be able to be killed by Manta because of the vibranium it wears, unless his face, for example, like if you look at that mask he's wearing, that mask could come off pretty easy. Yeah, that might be enough to, if he can blast it off and just take his head off, that might do it. Otherwise, I think he's just going to knock Killmonger's ass out more than anything else. And then strip his body of vibranium, add to the weapons to, his arsenal, get out of there and try to get some medical attention for the poison. I think really it just comes down to the fact that concussive energy blast that Manta can shoot is not something Killmonger readily fights against, and despite the fact he has a symbiote, the powers really aren't tailored to this match. So, and just so we clear, the divine symbiote, hold on, I will just quickly bring that up. Divine, because that's what it was called, divine symbiote, Simba, symbiote, nope, I want symbiote. Divine symbiote. All right, let's see here. The divine symbiote. It's not okay. So looking up, I tried looking up divine symbiote, but that just gives me null. So let's go with who. Spoilers is going to show up in a fight this week. We got Venom. We got Venom: The Last Dance, which revealed we are getting Null in some capacity. So I'm so down for that. Null, even though Null is a recent character, he quickly became one of my favorite new characters to show up in Marvel. So I love his design. He is a guy that when he shows up on the scene, he is a menace that needs to be taken care of. He is an Avenger level threat. I hope that Venom isn't just going to one-shot him in the movie. I hope that he stays around. But anyway, yeah, let's see here. Divine symbiote. Where is it? Okay, divine symbiote, yeah. Being resurrected by the Clintar, bonding to his cadaverous remains, Killmonger would come to find he's acquired a new and greater power than before. Again, more enhanced physicality. So technically speaking, he doesn't have a symbiote. I misspoke. It's more that the symbiotes resurrected him and gave him some symbiote-like abilities, which include, but are not limited to, more superhuman strength, durability, speed, stamina, agility, reflexes, regenerative healing factor, constitute matter generation, constitute matter manipulation. Now, what does that actually mean? Well, hold on one second. I want to be very clear. Also, divine siphoning, he can assimilate Eric's body and sublime lion share, but that's siphoning a god's power. That doesn't matter here. symbiotic expansion and psychic control. That doesn't mean anything here. And engineer mimicry. That means nothing here. So most of that really doesn't matter here. But constitute generation and matter manipulation. What I think that means, and I'm going to check that right now. Let's see, constitute matter manipulation. Let's just see here if that means what I think, because I think it means he can control his own body, not that he can control someone else's. Let's see, inorganic, matter manipulation, matter attacks, techniques, variations. Okay, constitute matter, conceptual. All right. Unfortunately, I don't have a good example right now what that actually means. But I think it actually means more manipulation of his own body, like a symbiote would have that ability, not necessarily manipulating someone else's body. By the way, if you just go on the Superpower Wiki, which is a great site for finding all sorts of random powers you probably didn't even know existed, there's just a huge thing on this ability alone. Like, seriously. But regardless, I think Killmonger would probably eke out the win. I do think that. It would be a hard-fought win, and I do see many scenarios where Killmonger would take the win over him. I just think it would probably go more to Black Manta, but that's my thoughts. What do you think of the comments below? Let me know. Till then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you folks next time.